everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. Yeah, that's the kind of energy we're talking about here on a Wednesday night, following a South Alabama football victory over Morgan State to get things started here this past weekend. We've got soccer talk, we've got volleyball talk. We'll get to all that here in a bit because we've had a big thing going on campus with Jaguar athletics lately, and we're going to talk about that right now.
Yes, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you see the guy to my left, Tyler Folks, is departing. And, man, we hate to see you go. But for those of you who don't know what this guy does, Tyler Folks has been the guy behind all the ESPN Plus productions, okay? I'm the guy that's on the air, and I do a lot of that stuff, but the guy that makes it all work is Tyler Folks. We had to pry him out to get him in front of the camera. He wasn't too happy about that. But how you been, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for
Good,
having me, JT
good.
and Pat.
Absolutely.
Like you said, when you asked me to come on, I kind of hesitated for a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it and finally get in front of the camera and get on the radio. I think I've only been on the radio once.
You did pick him one time, like years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Back when we were in the old, it was like the old closet.
Yeah, we went into a
conference
closet.
room.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, when you came to South Alabama, it was obviously ESPN Plus wasn't a thing.
Correct.
Live streaming wasn't a thing. Tell us how you got down here in the first place.
Yeah, so I worked, the Mobile Bay Bears here. They used to be here. I worked for a team that was in that same league, the Southern League. It was the Tennessee Smokies. And whenever I finished working for the Tennessee Smokies, I was hired by an entertainment company. And their main client was South Alabama. They needed somebody to come down to South Alabama and create all the content that goes on the video boards. So that company hired me and I had a contract with Travis Toth and Dr. Urban. And I did that for 4 years as South as my main client. And then during the summertime when there was no sports or anything going on here at South Alabama, I would travel across the country and help other teams get ready for their summer leagues. And then when basketball came back around, I'd show back up here in Mobile and continue working. And that's when I met JT.
Yep.
JT was a student then. When 4 years later, Jaguar Sports Properties became a thing. And they took that position that I was contracted to fill, and that became an open position, and I applied for it. And that was in 2014. So
Little did you know how much work was ahead.
yeah,
right?
It expanded. It grew every year.
Yes.
It got more, which is what you want. You want your athletic department to grow. You want the video production to grow. And I don't think there was any video anywhere before we kind of started capturing everything. So it's a pat on the back to us that we were able to capture those championships and just the memories that people have of their time at their university.
Yeah, our archive really starts, I think, in 2014.
It does.
When,
it's very sparse prior to 2014.
Yeah, it is.
We were going back through the hard drives, and I had a hard drive that was 2010, 2014 was when I was running around with a camera, and I was like, I should probably save all this footage and give it to the university so they can start to build an archive of everything. And then in 2014, when Pat created Jag Nation TV, we had that as kind of a base, and we just kind of built upon it every single year. We added and kept track of all the student athletes that came through.
Well, you were here before streaming started. Then obviously ESPN Plus was brought from nothing. And for the folks at home that maybe don't know, the Sun Belt Conference just said, here's the equipment, go figure it out.
Yes.
How crazy was that transition?
It was terrifying, and it was also we credit to Pat. We kind of figured out how to do it before the ESPN Plus came, and my role kind of shifted back and forth. I went from broadcast to content creation and back into broadcast, but I was kind of always around to help. And before the ESPN Plus came, we kind of decided just to stream ourselves on our own website, get it out to the fans, and we figured out how to do it. And when the Sun Belt Conference had their contract with ESPN, we kind of had an upper leg on some other universities in our conference because we've been doing it for 4 years or 5 years or however long it was. And so we kind of had an understanding of how to do it, but with all new equipment, that was the daunting part of, hey, we have X amount of time to figure this out. And then at that time we were going to LAD and doing it down there and trying to figure out, make sure that we knew what we were doing.
That
and
had
that
its own set of problems.
we were using students, so we were trying to teach students how to film everything for the first time, while we were also kind of learning how to do everything for the first time with all the equipment. It was daunting. but we got through it.
And I won't speak for you, but I would assume the most gratifying part of your job over the past decade or so has been dealing with the students and seeing those students start here and then go there and just get bigger and better, and they understand what they're doing.
Yeah, and I was cleaning out my office the other day, and I had a drawer, and I pulled it out, and there's just a bunch of notes and cards, birthday cards and things, and one of them was a graduation card from Marissa.
Yeah.
And on the back of it, a big, long thank you note. And I just sat there and kind of read it. And it brought me back to remembering that it's not just about me. It's helping other people. And she might not have done this for a career, but it was a piece of her college experience that had an impact. And even if they're not going into broadcast production, we still have an impact on people, and that means a lot.
You've done creative content. You've done live production. You've seen a lot over your years at South Alabama. What's some of your favorite memories from your time here?
Oh, man. There was a stretch, man, the 2015, 16, 17, 18 years where it didn't matter what sport I was filming on the sideline. It just was packed, and we were winning. And I grew personally, the content I was creating elevated, I felt like. I kind of learned more of how to tell stories. And we did coaches shows. Ironically, the Mississippi State game, I actually did not go on that trip because I stayed for the broadcast. So there were, going on the bowl game trips, I don't know, there's a lot. The championship runs, those all kind of stand out. But there's also like small moments for me personally of like when I would stay up until 4 a.m. making a video that no one knew was being made. And then I completed it after watching it 200 times and picking apart the little details, and then finally just showing up and being like, hey, I've made this. If you want to play it, you can play it. And then seeing people's reactions to those videos, it just kind of, it's that nostalgia of like, this is what was meant to be. I enjoy doing that.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be here for Saturday's game. Your wife, your daughters, your whole family, they're all sitting here.
Yes, they are.
You're going to be in the stands.
I'm going to be
for a football
in the
game.
stands.
Are you going to be okay?
For the first time
ever.
As a South Alabama fan, I will be in the stands cheering on. We're going to make a bunch of noise, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to cheer, and we're going to sing the fight song, and we're going to be fans.
Until we call you and say, hey, man, this is not working. What do we do?
I got a call. I got a call today. I stopped and helped.
There
I
you
was
go.
like,
There you go.
I'll help out.
Well, I will suggest that you change your number because even though you're going to be in Knoxville, we're going to call you
But if I don't answer, it's not because I don't like you. I might be busy.
Tyler, man, we've had, so many memories over the years. I remember one of the first true interactions with you was, do you remember organizing but not organizing the Harlem Shake for the student section?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we had meetings about that and trying to figure out how we were going to do it.
Yes. But we weren't recognizing that we were doing it.
Yeah, it was a silent secret that everybody knew about. It was interesting. But it turned out to be fun. We had a packed crowd, and everyone did it, and I made a video. Yep. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it's still out there.
Yeah.
It's we've had a blast. We've had a blast that way.
Yes. Yeah. And you had your last soccer game Sunday night.
I did.
And I got a little emotional at the end. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did. I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
but
I don't like admitting that, but I did.
Hey, it means that it's important.
Yeah.
And it is important. This is a chapter of my life that I grew tremendously from when I first started. I grew up as a man, found my faith, and met the love of my life. And I have a family now, and
the two girls are slapping each other. So there you go. That's what sisters do.
I'm still learning. But yes, it's been more than I could ever dreamed of what it was going to be. It really has been. And you guys are my best friends here.
Yeah.
And we've, like you said, we've had plenty of memories together. I was in JT's wedding. Pat, you were in my wedding.
Yep.
I hope I find close-knit friends like that. I think that's important, and the bar has been set for my expectations of how people interact with me and the friendships that I create.
Well, we're not going anywhere. So we're not going to change our numbers either.
Okay.
So you might not be calling us to see how you plug this in and how to make that work, but we're not going anywhere. We're always going to be around, man.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate everything you did.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
There's
Love
no
you.
proper way to end the segment with you, buddy. We
love you
appreciate
guys.
everything. Love you
you
too,
back.
man.
Love you
sir.
back.
Hey, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll switch back to talking some football here. When we come back, Jags Live, presented by Eco South Service. Hey, everybody in here, give it up for Tyler
Yes,
Folks
Tyler
real
Folks.
quick. The guy behind the scenes for everything, never
Thank
gets the
you.
recognition he deserves.
Thank
we'll
you.
take a quick timeout. Continue Jags Live when we come back. All right, we'll dive into the regular rotation. There's no good way to transition from Tyler Folks for everything that he does for us with South Alabama athletics. But we'll try to move on here, and we'll jump back into our normal coverage here on Jags Live, and let's talk some football now.
Yeah,
Big
let's
win
do it.
this past weekend for South Alabama over Morgan State, and now assistant coach for South Alabama, running backs coach Roderick Fobbs joins us now. Coach, thanks for coming down here.
Glad to be here. You know, it's good to be in Mobile. It's the first time I've kind of lived outside of Louisiana, so it's great to be here, and I look forward to talking with you guys.
Let's talk about the running back room first. So you get here as a new coach, at least to our system. You look inside the running back room. Do you go, man, I did all right, right?
Absolutely.
I'm looking okay.
Absolutely. You know, I went from having a really, really great one player
Yeah.
at ULM to coming here with all of these guys. I think we got 6 guys that can run the football. So anytime you got guys of that stature and that ability that can, you know, not only run the football, block, but catch the football out the backfield, that's what you're looking for.
What drew you to South Alabama?
Well, you know, Coach Applewhite. You know, I've always, you know, seen him from afar. A lot of people, you know, don't know that I'm from Louisiana as well, just like he is. He played against my brother in college when my brother was at Oklahoma State and he was at Texas. So I've always been someone that was that enjoyed watching him play, you know, the game, and saw him play in college and play well and really become a leader. You know, he has the perfect first name, you know, Major. So,
Right.
And he acts like a major.
You talk about all your time in Louisiana, and let's, you know, you were an assistant at several different places,
Yes.
but a head coach at Grambling
Yes.
for 8 seasons. Talk about the ability to be a head coach, how that helps you as an assistant role, be it at ULM or be it here at South Alabama.
Well, the thing that it helps you with is it gives you, you know, a broad scope of everything that a head coach is actually having to do, and how he sees it from a different view. And when you see it at that particular point yourself, and then you go back to being an assistant coach, you kind of know the kind of things that he has to deal with. So you kind of can anticipate taking things off of his plate and trying to help him with certain things so that they don't actually come across his table.
You were a player at Grambling State.
Yes.
We'll start there. We'll talk more about Grambling here in a bit, but
Yeah.
kind of talk us through your playing days. What was it like playing at Grambling?
It was awesome, you know, playing for Coach Eddie Robinson. My father played for Coach Eddie Robinson as well, and then I played for him after that. There was really no other place for me, you know, the winningest coach in college football history. I mean, and then he's a great man. He actually had us wearing suit and ties and taught us how to tie a tie and all that kind of stuff as well. So it was great to, you know, not only play for him, but also have an opportunity to go back and spend time with him even after I finished playing, you know. So just a great man, great to be there. It was a great place for me at that particular time of my life, and I think it kind of started the ball rolling for me.
Where would you have fit into this running back room with you as a player?
With me as a player, I think with my confidence, I probably would have been one of the top 3.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that.
But I tell you, you know, the game has changed so much more now than it was when I played. These guys are asked to do so much more, and they're in so much better shape than we were at the time because science has kind of taken off, so to speak. So I'll probably be in the mix somewhere.
There you go. That's good.
I want to talk to you about Grambling for folks at home that maybe don't understand. You mentioned there Coach Robinson. That's a historic program.
Right.
What was it like playing there and then coming back to be the head coach there later?
Oh, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. You know, I remember signing and stating that I wanted to go to Grambling State University, and my dad never said anything. But then once I decided to go, it was like, all right, you know, and I'm like, wait, you knew that all along. You just didn't say anything to me. So it was great, you know, but also just to have the opportunity to be around friends and family and loved ones who all went to the same university that I went to, and then try to take them out of a state of darkness, which, so to speak. And at that particular time when I took over the program, you know, it needed a lot of help. It needed a lot of support, and it needed someone that really, really cared about the program. And we kind of brought it back to life and did some great things there and was successful.
But Coach is one of those guys, though, that I've got to imagine. I never got the chance to meet him personally, but he's going to teach you a ton of football, but he's going to teach you more how to be a man,
Absolutely.
more about life.
Absolutely.
How much does that influence you as you're now a coach of young men?
Absolutely. It influences everything that I do. I believe wholeheartedly that you recruit great talent, but you also have to make them great men. And if you can make them great men, then the talent will go even further than what it would normally be. So for me, it's all about development as a man, and making sure that they understand the importance of doing things the right way. Because if you can get that mindset in a talented individual, then there's no telling how great he can become.
Let's talk about your position group. We've got a game under our belt. What did you see from you guys out there this past weekend?
Well, I thought, you know, it was kind of one of those deals. It was kind of jittery and rocky, you know, and we kind of expected, you know, that, you know, it's so hard sometimes because you're trying to balance being healthy and being safe with being sharp, you know, and that's that old cliche thing. Are you sharp or are you ready to go? Are you healthy? So we were trying to, you know, deal with that, and I think that had a lot to do with the nervousness and you know, the ball being on the ground. We weren't very pleased with that, you know, but at the end of the day, it's week one, and we got to win. We made some plays in the game, but then also, too, you know, you make your biggest jumps between week one and week two. So when you get an opportunity to go back and look at yourself on film and see what you did, you know, then we'll be much better this particular weekend.
And there's going to be a bit of a jump from the defense we face.
Absolutely.
And again, no disrespect to Morgan State.
Absolutely.
But Tulane, I mean, these guys play some tough defense.
Absolutely. You can see it on film. You know, they're well coached. I mean, they play extremely hard. They're going to be in position. They're going to be in the right places. They're not going to play with bad technique. And they know what they're doing. They're very, very smart and well coached. And then they have great talent as well. So it's great for us. It's a great test for us. We're looking forward to it. Our backs are ready. We've been focusing on protecting the football, low pad level, and running the football with anger and vigor.
I like it. Anger and vigor.
I like that.
Assistant
Put
coach
that note on my chart.
Yeah, there you go. Assistant coach Broderick Fobbs joins us down here at Walk-Ons. It's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. Coach, appreciate your time. Good to see you. Welcome to Jag Nation. We're glad you're wearing red, white, and blue now.
Yes. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll continue Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, when we come back. Back down here at Walk-Ons, it's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, and we get a chance to talk to some of our student athletes down here this week from the running back room, running back P.J. Martin, and for the second day in a row, this guy just wants free food, because Devin Voisin joined us yesterday to be on the podcast, so he's just hanging out again with us here down at Walk-Ons. Boys, good to see you. Thanks for coming down here. Oh, let me turn on your mics first. That would help. There you go. There you go. My bad.
There it is. Thanks for having us.
Well, just week one, PJ, we'll start with you. Week one, you got a game under your belt. You found the end zone.
Yes, sir.
Just how's it feel after week one?
It feels great, you know, just to be able to go out there and play South Alabama football once again, you know, and just being able to go out there and just showcase our talents every day and every weekend.
And Devin, you found the end zone twice, although you only get credit for it one time. To get in the end zone, what did that mean for you? And you had that good moment with your family.
Yeah, it meant a lot, you know, just having, you know, last year not getting an end zone at all, then it being pretty much 2 years from the game, you know, it just felt good. Like I said, I did it for my family this year, and so it was just really good to find them right after.
And have you seen the replay of the punt return?
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw how close you were, right?
I do. Yeah.
Did you know at the time that you were that close? Did you know you were in?
I knew that, you know, when I stuck the ball out, it went like inside the pylon, but my feet, obviously, you know, it was kind of, I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But then we rewatched it and saw the green in between. That's when I was like, okay, come on.
You've had a couple of them where you've been close on there was one like a sliding catch on the back line a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
You've had a couple of close ones there.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, let's talk about PJ first. Your bigger role this year in the offense for you. Just what do you like about what you're doing now, and just how comfortable are you in an expanded role now?
You know, I'm extremely comfortable. You know, I went from being a third down back last year, just picking up in protections, and that's just something that added some more to my game. You know, just being able to be a third down guy and just develop coach trust. You know, so being able to have the ball in my hand again is always great. You know, and just being able to showcase my talents.
And being a New Orleans guy, how special is it that not only do we get to play Tulane, but we get to play Tulane here?
It's very special, you know, just having my whole family being able to ask for tickets, you know, just going out there with my cousin playing safety, you know, for them. So it's just going to be a family game. It's going to be something that, you know, I'm going to keep as a chip on my shoulder, and it's just going to be something that's going to be special to watch.
How many folks do you have coming to the game? Do you know?
With me having so many family members asking for tickets, I know my cousins probably have like 30, so maybe like 45 people probably going to be there.
So be honest. When you hit the hole, are you going to be looking for your cousin to run over?
Hey, I'm looking for anybody to run over. Anybody. We're hoping there's a whole lot of green grass in front of me so we can go score at any time. But, hey, I'm going to drop that hat anytime I have to.
That's good. You guys have been watching the highlights we got rolling here in the TVs the whole time here. I mean, you guys – I've seen you guys light up when you're watching them. Yeah. You guys had some fun this past weekend, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's always fun, you know, just to be able to go against a different opponent. You know, we've been going through fall camp and spring, going against the same guys. You know, just having somebody else out there that we can go against is always going to be something that's fun.
Devin, talk about the potential of this team. I know we've only had one game. It was against an FCS opponent. We didn't do a whole lot schematically. We understand that. And we got some really tough games in front of us.
Right.
But what potentially can this team do?
I mean, the sky's the limit for us. You know, every time we go out to practice every day, you know, we look for greatness rather than good. And so just, you know, going through, like, just started in fall camp, you know, you just see all the guys executing, everybody, you know, coming together. And then after that first game, like I said, you know, we started a little slow, but after we got the offense going and didn't beat ourselves, you know, penalties and turnovers, I felt like, you know, we were executing really well.
All right, let's because we usually have two guys from one position joining us, so let's get a little competition going on.
I could play running back too, yes.
And I can play receiver.
There it is. Okay. But, I mean, obviously you guys are competitive. I mean, PJ, we'll start with you. Just can you talk about the competitiveness in that room with you guys? Because you've got a lot of big-name guys in that
for sure.
running back room. Take us in there real quick.
It's very competitive, you know. We just being able to play behind a guy like Kentrell, you know, with his explosiveness, just being able to be physical and just play tough day in and day out, you know. It's just always something that you always want to look up to as a young guy, especially having guys like, you know, Keenan Phillips in the backfield as well, you know. So just guys like that, you know, that's just always going to keep you on your toes, you know, just being competitive, making people miss, and just growing as a football player. So I think that's just always something that's going to be, you know, important for us, you know, just keeping the guys on their toes, you know, just having us ready to go out there and make plays every Saturday.
So if you two switched, would you be the better receiver? Or would you be the better running back?
I'll go back and be the better receiver, for sure. Running back's my job, so I know for sure that I could go out there and do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not, you know, I play receiver, so I don't like contact.
Right.
So, you know,
so between the tackles is not you.
Yeah, if you want to give me a screen, maybe, but I don't know about going and hitting people.
Well, PJ, you know, oftentimes, you know, the offensive line is your best friend.
Yeah.
And so you got to help them out. And then Devin, for you, like, you know, you're not getting the ball if the quarterback's not throwing it to you. So that's got to be your best friend too, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it starts with them every time, you know, running the ball or passing the ball.
Yep.
Well, and we've always talked about this offensive line, and you know, we haven't been a football program for that long, but I think, Devin, you've been here since the beginning.
Right. 10 years, decades.
So I had to get that jab in. But this is, I think, the best offensive line and the deepest offensive line we've had.
Yeah, 100% agree. You know, all the guys that are up front for us, you know, there's all of them have experience, including Asher Hale from last year. And so, you know, I think they all came together and decided, you know, what they wanted this year, and then they're executing.
PJ, I wanted to ask you, because, Devin, we asked you this yesterday on the podcast, but you're from down the road in New Orleans, PJ. You went to De La Salle High School, really big program over there. What made you want to come down I-10 over here to South Alabama?
You know, I just got connected with Coach Applewhite, you know, just being able to talk to a wonderful man like that. You know, he just was able to, you know, win my family over and win me over, you know, just coming to South and just viewing the campus. And it just was something that I connected with as soon as I got on campus.
So how much do you know about Coach Applewhite as quarterback, Major Applewhite?
Not really a lot. You know, I hear a whole lot of stories about how great he was and how legendary he was, and that's just something that, you know, it's just something that I'm going to have to keep growing with him on and just asking him about here and there, you know, but our main thing is football right now. So, hey, whenever we get around that time to where I get to talk to him about, you know, Texas and stuff like that, we're going to figure it out.
Okay. I was like, Coach isn't in the building yet, so you're not talking about just because he's here. PJ Martin and Devin Voisin, running back and receiver for South Alabama, joining us here from Walk-Ons. Guys, appreciate your time as always. Good luck here coming up this weekend against Tulane.
Thanks for having us.
Let's get some food in you guys here, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank y'all.
We'll take a quick timeout. Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, will continue when we come back. Back here at Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. Head coach Major Applewhite joins us now. Coach, congrats on the victory, week 1.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to get the first one out of the way.
And you get all the clapping when you go home every
That's
time,
right.
right?
It's just like when I walk in the door at home. It's exactly right.
Let's talk about that win, though. An FCS opponent, we understand that. I know schematically we didn't throw a lot at them, and there are a lot of things you want to clean up. And
Right.
we'll talk about that as we go along. But
Right.
but what are some of the things, besides the fact that you won the game? I mean, that's bottom line. What are some of the things that you saw that said, okay, that's where we need to be?
The flashes. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but there's some flashes here and there. The first drive on defense was not us at all. But the next 2 or 3 series, we got a 3 and out, then we got a takeaway, another 3 and out. That was more of what we're capable of doing, just consistently. And offensively, we moved the ball at times with ease, but we got in our own way on some third downs and turned the ball over a couple times, and that wasn't us either. So trying to establish that consistency, there's always reasons. I can't stand excuses, and I hate hearing them, and I can see them coming from a mile away when people start to deliver them to me. So I'm always trying to slow to that. But there are a lot of guys. Devin's the only one that's really played a lot of wideout. Anthony Eager's played some. But let's be honest, Jamal Pritchett, Jeremiah Webb, Javon Ivory, and Shamar Sandgren carried the load last year.
Right.
So there's Kentrell played a lot of running back last year. PJ played some. So there's a lot of different guys that are gaining playing experience. They played football in high school and all that stuff, but in terms of being able to play the college game and be comfortable with going in and out of series and adjustments, we're gaining that. And when you lose as many people as we had to graduation or portal, there's a process to it, and I don't like that, but the reality of it is we're gonna have to grow and develop and gain that as we go throughout the year. And there's no better 2 weeks in our season, in my opinion, where I don't think we're gonna play 2 teams as good as this. Maybe I may be wrong, and that's okay, but I think Tulane has proven it over the last couple of years, whether John was there or not. Certainly with him there, I think they are better.
Yeah.
that's for sure. And then, Auburn, the quality of players they have. So those 2 weeks are going to be tremendous tests and a great measuring stick in terms of, if you want to play at the next level, but here's your 2 weeks to prove it.
We talked earlier with Coach Fobbs about, big big growth from week 1 to week 2, and you hope to see that. But when you saw from week 1, an offensive line cohesion or procedural things that may or may not have happened, how do you think we fared in that respect, just everyone being on the same page?
Yeah, I'm probably the worst person to ask that to, because I'm going to point out every single thing that we had. We had 2 substitution issues on punt team. We had an issue making sure that we had 11 out there on a field goal. We had 11, but it was not as clean as it needs to be. We had a delay of game with the second team offensive unit there at the end, where we're trying to take the air out of the football, but we're also trying to sub and give people playing time, and that's great that we're trying to give people a participation award at the end of the game, but we also need to teach these kids who are going at the end of the game how to take the air out of the ball at the end of the game, because we're trying to get them playing time to be starters. And so when they become starters, what's going to happen? They're going to have to take the air out of the ball. So we got to teach them that too. It's not just, hey, John gets to play. We're so excited for John. Yeah, that's great that John's playing, but what part is the game? What are we doing here? And if we explain to him the situation, so we know how to go out there and not get a delay of game. Those are some of the procedural things, but I felt like some of the mock game that we had talked about a couple weeks ago, I felt like that eased some of that. But then again, you can have a dress rehearsal all you want when the auditorium's full of people. The mind goes sometimes. And so we've got to continue to work on that. And that to me is just simply South Alabama doesn't beat South Alabama. We put 11 people on the field. We understand the situation. If they beat us playing a better brand of ball, then so be it. But we're not going to sit there and do things that beat us.
But I'm the type of person, though, I'm just like you. I'm going to see in the broadcast, nobody will say a word. I'm like, we missed that graphic here, and this didn't happen right. And this, that's what you want, though. You want to start nitpicking stuff immediately, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what you want to critique, and you want to get better, and you want to. There's always lessons to learn. There's always lessons to learn over wins. That's what we talked about on Monday. Is like, are you humble in victory? Are you hungry in defeat? Like, there's lessons to be learned. Through any event. There's just going to be repercussions of what we do, how we act, and those are things that we need to respond to, and that's what we're going to come out of this game with. We didn't tackle well. We had 181 yards rushing. We put the ball on the ground a lot. That tape has been put in the mail to other universities that we're going to play. That is on tape. That is who we are. You can say whatever you want. You are what your record is. You are what your tape says you is. You are what your coaching says you is on film. So it's really simple. So we need to address these things. A lot of times in success, mistakes get forgotten, and in failure, they get magnified. So let's get away from the traditional way of handling things. And no matter what we do, win or lose, we have a process. You have a method. You test it and you quality control it. And we're going to come back in on every Sunday and we're going to quality control it, whether we win 50-0 or lose 50-0. We're going to look and see what we can do better from. How do we handle the hotel? Did we feed them the right things? How did we get the recruits in on game day? Did we get to see the right recruits? Did we talk to them? Did we spend the right time? Did we have the right things on the sideline? No, the iPads weren't working. That stinks. We're gonna go over everything and make sure that our process is set up, because we only got 12 of them, and they're precious.
We'll put week 1 behind us.
Yes, sir.
We'll take a quick timeout. We'll look ahead to week 2 with the big one with Tulane coming to town this weekend. We'll take a quick timeout. Continue Jags Live, presented by EcoSouth Services when we come back. Getting set for a big week 2 matchup for South Alabama football as they host the Green Wave of Tulane coming up here this weekend. Coach, just overall, your thoughts on Tulane coming to town?
Really excited to have this specifically this ball club. A very good football team, but I like the geographic matchup. When you can play someone that's close to your plot of land and they're a good ball club, you get a lot of people in the stadium. And our stadium, I love Hancock Whitney. It's a beautiful stadium. It's new. There's a lot of good parking. There's a lot of good tailgate spots. I'm a big, huge fan of college football, even if I was in a different profession. And I would enjoy going to that stadium with the oak trees and the places to go tailgate and have a good time. Clean stadium, easily accessible. You get in and out with your kids. So to be able to bring a great football team like that in, have a night game, early in the season before you become conference play, I think it's great. It's A+ home run by Joel or Dr. Urban or AD. So I'm just happy to be able to participate in this type of ball game. It is a damn good team. You'd rather play high school teams and just rack your record up with wins. But at the same time, to win a conference championship, to make yourself relevant as a program, you've got to play teams that are relevant. You can go find you a MAC school that goes 2-10 and bring them on your schedule, and you can get about 300 people out there to go see it, or you can bring in a team that competed for their conference championship and plays in New Year's Day bowls and has about $3 or $4 million in NIL and revenue share that they can give their players, and say, so what? So they got that. So what? Let's go play. Let's go play football. So I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Summerall and a lot of guys on his staff. I like ball guys that do it the right way, that believe in toughness and effort. And he's one that I have a tremendous amount of respect for.
And you've seen this Tulane team on tape. They had a big win last week against Northwestern out of the Big Ten, and it wasn't that close. It was 23-3, and they dropped a couple of touchdowns. Probably should have made it more than 23-3.
It was dominant.
Talk about the quarterback specifically. He's a transfer from BYU, a guy that obviously will sit in the pocket and throw, but doesn't mind running at all. That's another big challenge defensively that we're going to have to button up this week.
He reminds me of Morris from North Texas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's probably got a step or 2 steps of speed on him. But in terms of his release, his arm strength, his ability to trust and believe in his arm, there's high school open, there's college open, and there's pro open. And he throws it when they're pro open. And he doesn't have to see you come out of your break. He can anticipate it. He feels leverage. He understands, change of speed, relative speed based on the DB and the wideout. And to the average eye, man, this guy throws the ball into some crowded spots. Yeah, but they usually catch him.
Yeah.
And when they are covered, he can maneuver. He can keep his arm alive. He keeps his eyes downfield. And then when you do cover everybody, he can take off on you. He ran one, I think, for 65, 69 yards the other day. So he can, he's a really true dual threat quarterback. And it doesn't matter that he's only been there a month. He doesn't need a lot of plays. He can create a lot of plays on his own.
John Summerall's teams at Troy were known for their defense, and still the same over at Tulane, right?
Yeah, I mean it's both. It's both now. I think he's probably realized as a coach, and I'm not sure that he ever didn't realize it. I just think he's finally at a position now where he's got some talent on that side of the football at the quarterback position, whereas at least the 2 years that I played against him, most of that talent on offense was at the running back position, and so he, like good coaches do. Who's my best player? Him? Okay, we'll give it to him 28 times a game. And let's play great defense, and if we win 13-3, so be it. Now he's, all right, well, I've got a little bit more notable school, a little bit more pull. I can get me a quarterback out of BYU. I can get me a running back out of Louisville. I can get me a wide out of FAU. I can get me a D lineman out of this school. And, some of that offensive talent has started coming in. And Joe Craddock's always done a good job with his offense. I coached against Joe when he was at SMU and I was at Houston. and he was working with Chad Morris. So he's always put points on the board. So now it's becoming a truly two sides of the ball can be dominant in the game. And I think that's what Coach Summerall probably wants is in the rare occasion that my defense does have a bad day, we can score some points. But he doesn't have many bad days on defense.
But you're one of those guys, though, that you control what you can control. And you're going to look at Tulane and know what they do and what they like to do and their tendencies. But you can control our guys. What do we need to do in order to be successful Saturday night?
Well, number one, we've got to take care of the ball. We do not need to help them. They are a really good football team. I don't know what the pundits say, but I imagine they're picked to win the football game.
Yeah, I guess so.
And if they're not, I want to meet the pundits. But you don't go up there and hold a team from Big Ten to 3 points to start the season and not be very good. Like you said, they had 4 takeaways, they had 3 interceptions, they dropped a few touchdowns themselves. So the score could have been more gruesome. But we don't need to do anything to help them beat us. They have enough help of their own. So we got to take care of the ball. Tackling is going to be always an issue when you play against better skill players. We're going to play against better skill players when we play. But we got to tackle, we got to take care of the ball, and we have to score points in the red zone. It's just plain and simple. We can't kick field goals like we did last week.
What's the main thing for us that you want to see us improve upon from week 1 to week 2? I know you touched on it a little bit there, but is there one specific thing you're looking for?
Those would probably be the 2 most glaring things, just because that's going to carry for the next 10 after this. Is if we're a group that doesn't know how to take care of the football, I don't care who we play. If we're a group that can't make tackles in space or can't populate to the ball to where if the first guy misses, second, third can clean them up, doesn't matter. There's good skill players in this league too. We lost 2 or 3 of them to the portal, so there's good players in this league. So we've got to improve on those 2 things. And then, that's really the theme as you go through non-conference, because at this level in the group of 5, sometimes you are going and playing games, money games as people call them. And so really you got to get through that money game. And you're obviously going out and trying to win the damn game. But as a head coach, you also got to say, how do we improve through this? So it was still important last year, even though we got out of Baton Rouge and it was embarrassing the scoreboard, there still were things that we needed to come out of that game improving upon to make sure we were ready to go into conference play. And
it's one thing for us to say it, but to come from you, let's talk about the atmosphere that's needed from the fans Saturday night. We know our band obviously is going to be there. Tulane's band is coming. They're going to bring some fans. We're going to bring obviously a lot of fans. What difference does the crowd make truly when it comes to a home game?
Well, just you're 18 to 22. Just if anybody listening can go back to that time period, it's no different than a 9-year-old when he gets up to the plate to bat. He turns around and looks for his parents.
Yeah.
You want to know people are watching you. And you enjoy it when more people are watching you. And I remember when I was a redshirt freshman at Texas, John Makovic, our head coach, we had practices out at the intramural fields. And, there was not a tree in sight. There was like 9 football fields. And it was dull, and it was harsh, and it was boring, and it was hot. And it was 2-a-days. It was 6 straight days of 2-a-days. That's when you could have 2-a-days in a row. And we would go, Monday through Friday, 2-a-days, and then we'd scrimmage on Saturday. The year after that, after he was let go, Mac Brown came in, and Mac invited fans to the practice. You couldn't even call it the same practice. There was 3,000 fans out there, but us as players, it was like, we got to put on. There's people out here watching. We got to put on. And so it's the same thing on game day. I've seen it numerous times. When I was at Houston, we didn't start off that way. But when we went up to Louisville and we beat Lamar Jackson in 2015, then when we came back home, there was a few more people. And then Vanderbilt came to town, an SEC school, and we beat them. And then the next thing you know, we're playing Memphis at home, and it is packed. There's not a single seat in the stadium that's open. So there's a natural kind of growth to it. But you got to win games, and then people have to come out there and experience a winning product and like the atmosphere.
This is a big game, obviously, just from the opponent and who it is and whatnot. But to have a game and an opponent like this come to our place is a big deal too, right?
100%. I would love to play more of these type of teams, whether it's a Tulane, whether it's a Georgia Tech, whether it's a Central Florida, whether it's a Memphis, people that may not be in the Sun Belt, but they're in either a P4 conference or they're one of the elite group of 5 schools that have geographic pull. I would love to do that. Now, that is a heck of a lot easier said than done. I'm not an AD. I'm not in charge of scheduling. That is not an easy job. There's a matrix and all kind of stuff to it. And everybody plans 8-9 years out ahead of time.
Well, I talked to Coach Summerall today, actually, and he made that same comment that they'd love some out-of-conference regional rivalries because their fans can go, their band can go. Same thing for us when we go on the road. we want to have those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm also excited about Tech coming into the conference.
Yeah.
Because if I recruit a young man from Jackson, his parents can go to Monroe, they can go to Ruston, they can go to Lafayette, they can get over to Troy, they can get down here. You know, I mean, they can make every team in the West. I mean, they can even drive up to Jonesboro. So, I mean, that's huge for us. So then you add another one, there's 7 if you can add Tulane. You know, and if you get an FCS school, a Nichols or a Southeastern, then all of a sudden it's 8. You know, that kid's parents is getting a chance to see him. There's a reason why he wants to come there. I think that's huge in scheduling.
6 o'clock kickoff this weekend for South Alabama against the Tulane Green Wave at Hancock-Whitney Stadium. Coach, I know you got a lot to do this week, so I'll let you go. Appreciate you coming down here.
Thanks for having me
Thanks,
again.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
I said Coach Major Applewhite joined us here at Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. We'll take one more timeout. We'll wrap up the program when we come back. One more segment here from Walk-Ons this week as we come to you from Walk-Ons, Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, and a nice crowd here tonight. Folks are excited about some South Alabama football. They're wanting to send their best wishes to our guy Tyler Folks as well. And we've still got another busy week on campus. Not quite as busy as it was last week, but we've still got a lot going on outside of football. Still got some more home soccer and a big one this weekend.
Well, a huge one this weekend because we're going to play football Saturday, 6 o'clock, Hancock-Whitney Stadium. And then Sunday, a nationally ranked soccer team comes to the cage. Mississippi State coming in. They'll kick at 2 o'clock.
Yep.
And this is a soccer team for South Alabama that we haven't let an opponent score at home this year. We had one own goal that happened in the last game on Sunday when we played Southeastern Louisiana.
They're all blurring together.
I had to think. But we haven't had an opponent score against us at home. Now, we haven't played a nationally ranked team either at home. We played some good teams, but it's going to be interesting. And we always say this on our podcast as well. Soccer is 1,000% free.
Yep.
So come on out there Sunday afternoon, hopefully celebrating the win over Tulane in football, and let's get the other football going on Sunday, and let's beat Mississippi State.
Volleyball's got some road matches this weekend. They're up in Milwaukee. They'll play Central Michigan, Iowa State, and Milwaukee Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then they're finally home next weekend. Football will be on the road next week. But next weekend, they'll finally be back over at Jag Gym.
Yeah, Thursday they'll play Southeastern Louisiana. They'll play Tulane on Saturday. And then if you want some free volleyball just for the heck of it on Friday, Tulane will play Southeastern Louisiana at Jag Gym. So it'll be fun to see what they do. They really played well in the LSU Invitational against nationally ranked Baylor. Didn't play so hot the next day against LSU, but they really pushed that Baylor team. So I'm interested to see how they rebound this coming weekend in Milwaukee against some pretty good teams, and then let's get them home.
Yeah, should be fun to see how they rebound this week. That's a long way for them to go all the way up to Milwaukee, but some good competition up there, and wishing Jesse Ortiz's squad best of luck. And, of course, football coming up here this weekend. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff, Hancock-Whitney Stadium, the Tulane Green Wave, who right now, Pat, ESPN says is the favorite to represent the group of 5 in the college football playoff at the end of the season.
Well, let's look at their schedule. Okay, you've already beaten a Big Ten team. Granted, it was Northwestern. I get it.
Yep.
But you've already beaten a Big Ten team. After us, they will play Duke, and then they will play Ole Miss.
Yep.
So if you navigate that schedule, now all of a sudden, and then, of course, you got to navigate your American Conference schedule as well. But if you do that, the conference schedules or the schedule sets up to where you're going to be in the conversation with everybody. Now, you got to get these wins, and you got to wonder – I know John Sumrall would never look past South Alabama, but are the players going, okay, Duke, Ole Miss, okay, let's they better take care of business because we're going to come to play on Saturday night. It's not going to be one of those roll the ball out and Tulane wins easily. I think we've got the talent in our locker room to get things done. Got to clean up a bunch of stuff from the game against Morgan State, but we're certainly capable of doing that.
And I think what fans saw out there this past Saturday against Morgan State, while it was good and we got the win, I think you'll see even more coming up this weekend, which is really exciting as well.
Yeah, it was very vanilla, very just, hey, get what you need to get done in order to get the win. And we're not going to show much. That was done on purpose.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see, especially offensively, what are some of the wrinkles that we have in store for Tulane? I'm sure John Sumrall is very interested in that as well. So, I think we are going to see offensively a very different team. But, again, we're going to tee it up and see what happens.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff. You don't have tickets, go on usajaguars.com/tickets. Join us. There's some great ticket deals going on over there this weekend. And again, this is a big game. It's a big opponent coming to our place, like we talked there with Coach. It's great that we get this game at our place, and hopefully in the future we can have some more games like this. But when we do have them, we need to make sure that we show our support and make it count.
Well, I'd love for us to play UAB consistently.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State. I'm trying to think of other schools that are, Kennesaw State, which isn't too far away. They're in the Atlanta area. I like these regional games, but you don't get much more regional than New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 2.5 hours. It used to be Southern Miss. Before Southern Miss became a Sun Belt Conference member, that was the one that we would consistently play. But we've got Tulane right there. I'd love for Tulane to be in the conference one day.
Yeah, that would be great.
But that's a different story for a different day. But let's show support out there Saturday night, because a crowd's going to make a difference. Their band is coming, which is cool.
Yep.
I love when the opposing band comes. There's going to be fans which are going to boo us when we come out of the locker room, which I love.
Yep.
And let's drown out that was it olive and blue?
Olive and blue, yes.
I worked for him for a while. I should know that. But it's been a long time. Been many decades since I worked at Tulane. In fact, I worked at Tulane when they used to play in the Dome in front of nobody in the early 90s. So you talk about just the transition and the transformation that Tulane football has gone through. It's pretty impressive, and that's where we're headed as well.
Yes, right now Tulane is in the best era of their football I'd argue that they've ever had in program history. And for us, let's go out there. Let's go win a football game. How about that?
We've got the talent. We really do. We've got guys that are stepping up, guys that have the opportunity to step up. And that's, I think, what's most exciting is, you've had guys sitting on the bench for a while for reasons, but now's your chance. Go out and play. Let's see what you can do.
6 o'clock kickoff this weekend for the Jags against Tulane. We need you out there, Jag Nation. For Pat, for Coach, I'm JT. We'll see you guys next time from Walk-Ons, Jags Live, presented by EcoSouth Services.